Good morning. I am going to forego the PowerPoint and talk from some notes here. So, thank you, Arnie, for the introduction, and Craig for putting this great, unique conference together. I've been knocking around timber and forestry conferences for a couple decades, and like we've heard, this is just an incredibly unique audience, and to be congratulated for it. I've heard some great speakers who have focused on the technical and business issues associated with mass timber. And I'd like to follow up on Dr. Manis's, Gene's, Valerie Johnson's, and some others' comments and talk a little bit more about why a conservation group like Sustainable Northwest thinks growing mass timber market is a priority, and some of the more specific opportunities and challenges we see for making that a reality. I'm the chair of Sustainable Northwest. In my day job, I run a conservation finance group called Forest Capital. And so we work a lot in the intersection between public, private, and nonprofit financing. So a little bit background on Sustainable Northwest. We're a 21-year-old conservation group based here in Portland. We work to create healthy landscapes and healthy communities. We really cut our teeth in the timber wars 20 years ago by trying to bring timber, environmental, local elected officials and citizens together to try and resolve some of the most difficult timber harvest and forest management issues of the day. Such work has necessarily evolved into working with people in rural communities on other issues like energy, water, rangelands. And now, much like we just heard from Gene and Forterra, we're looking to bridge that rural-urban divide. And we're doing this in a couple of different ways. We've actually created a for-profit subsidiary called Sustainable Northwest Wood. We have an FSC group certification program. We have a Juniper business development program. And they're all looking to take the product, if you will, from collaboration. We've heard that word a lot, both on the manufacturing side or building side, but I'm also like to talk about it from a sourcing side. And we're trying to bring that to market. And before I go on to some more specifics, I'd also like to recognize two of our staff that are here today, Dylan Cruz, our policy director, and Paul Vanderford, our Green Markets Director, who helped me put these comments together, and our incredible resources. I encourage you to speak with them if you can. So we're excited about mass timber because we think it provides an opportunity for the forestry sector to further bridge the divide, as I said, notwithstanding many people's good work. You know, people we work with care a lot about forest health, sustainability, jobs, their education. But as former Congressman Doug Bosco said a number of years ago, everybody in my district loves trees. The only problem is half of them like them standing up and the other half like them laying down. And as somebody that used to work in public policy, I've got some scars to know that's true, but we've got to find a better way. And mass timber, you know, some people can say, well, it's just a remanufacturing of a traditional product. That's true, but also provides a reason to try and address and bring some things together that we haven't in the past. So let me talk about 4 opportunities that we see and 3 challenges. And we offer these up not to be you know, preachy or anything, but we offer them up as a strong supporter of mass timber and what it provides, and I hope you'll take it in that vein. So the first opportunity, and we've heard everybody talk about, many people talk about this, is that mass timber can create a new market for an old industry, which in turn can help revitalize our dependent rural communities. We care a lot about that at Sustainable Northwest. The mass timber movement is, or has been, essentially taking hold in urban settings. That's not surprising and appropriate, yet its roots are figuratively and substantively located across rural America in terms of timber supply and primary manufacturing. We've heard, you know, rural America is hurting. Rural residents have higher poverty rates. These are national figures, 16% compared to 12% for urban. Lower per capita income, $21,000 per capita per year in rural areas versus $29,000 for urban. And they have additional issues regarding an aging workforce and an educational attainment. Mass timber isn't, of course, going to solve all these problems, but it can provide real options for some of the forest-dependent communities throughout the region, and we've heard some examples of that today. Siting mass timber facilities in rural communities gives reason to recreate a domestic supply chain from raw material to manufactured product with a modern workforce. From Sustainable Northwest standpoint, mass timber markets also provide opportunities for rural communities to be associated with a form of a high-tech boom, not in terms of screens, but in terms of manufacturing high-tech, and that's a neat thing. So, second opportunity, embrace the environmental benefits of mass timber, not just from the finished product, but the forests from which it is sourced. We think this is really, really important. I'm going to jump into a topic that many certainly view as a challenge, and we do too. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But we would like to suggest viewing this as an opportunity. We all know the carbon sequestration benefits of mass timber. I do work in the carbon space. Actually, carbon, you can get carbon credits. You can sell carbon credits for carbon that is sequestered in finished forest products. So it's not a zero-sum game in the forestry world, that you can actually add value, financial value, by using wood products beyond just the value of that building that you're creating. We all know, but our hope is that we can look beyond the manufactured mass timber product and look back to the forest when speaking about the environmental benefits of mass timber buildings. We think that wood from mass timber can be sourced from forests that are sustainably managed, have come from forest health treatments, and are associated with forest stewardship practices that provide clean water, fish and wildlife habitat, and ecological diversity. The devil's in the details on these issues. There's no doubt about it. But we believe that this gives a new reason to try and reach consensus on some of these difficult issues. Third opportunity. Let's win the hearts and minds of people in support of wood building. We've got a great start, but notwithstanding the fact that those within the wood products and design architecture sector are a pretty proud bunch of people, I've noticed. People at large, in some cases, have no or unfortunately a negative perception of wood products. I was visiting my daughter in Virginia this last weekend. This is true. You know, met a business type in a coffee shop, and we were talking. They said, "What are you doing?" I'm in the forestry wood products business, and they immediately said, "Well, are you on the on the good side or the bad side, the sustainable side or the non-sustainable side?" And I don't know about you in the room, but I'm really tired of those labels. And I think there's mass timber gives us an opportunity to try and recreate that message. Wood is, let's transform the public perception of wood products through a broader regional education effort that celebrate how this mass timber market can create environmental, social, and economic value. Wood is regaining momentum, and the recognition is great, but we must not take this positive view for granted. We must expand on it, and we have to make good on it. Let's reach out to our partners from the conservation and rural communities in support of mass timber. Let's make the environmental community and the broader general public our greatest advocates. Fourth opportunity. Mass timber manufacturing, design, building could generate significant interest from impact investors. This is more an observation I have more with my forest capital hat on, but you know, there's a lot of buzz out there about impact investing. I don't know if you've heard that term, but it's a simple definition. It's that an investor will define their return on the measurable beneficial social or environmental impacts alongside their financial return. Now, you know, it's true that rules of engagement for what is and what is not an impact investment are to a large extent self-defined. However, it's also true that high net worth individuals, pension funds, institutional investors, and even large banks are actively looking for impact investments. And indeed, the conventional wisdom is that there's more money chasing those deals than there are good deals out there. So if we can create some kind of standardized rules for the impact investment, for impact investors on mass timber, I'm quite confident, I believe that we can see investment in this sector in the hundreds of millions instead of the tens of millions. So let's jump on to the challenges. The first is, it's sort of a flip side of what I talked before, it's wood sourcing. We feel that failure to address the sustainable wood sourcing issue could lead to a backlash similar to what you see in the biomass and ethanol sectors. Said differently, we believe that how opinion leaders deal with sourcing issues will sort of contribute to mass timber's success or shortcomings. We do believe that wood is cool and wood is good, but it's not enough to just say that and expect people to agree to it. We need to come up with consensus, technical and scientific support that recognizes various perspectives regarding forest management and sourcing standards, including, in our view, certification standards. Otherwise, we think we risk the perceptions of greenwashing, and that may not, if in any way kill the movement, but what it might do is limit it. And so, from our standpoint, we'd like to see it grow unencumbered, and this is we view an important thing to address. The second is the education challenge. We're right in the middle of it. While the divide and conquer public approach certainly works for advocacy campaigns and political campaigns, our experience, and it's something that we're actually really proud of, shows that winning hearts and minds for win-win solutions like mass timber will require more than simply providing information through a public relations campaign. It's going to be, as Gene said, building public support for mass timber markets with partnering and collaboration among opinion leaders in a manner that builds mutual trust, understanding, and agreement. And I want to stress that this must start with opinion leaders like us in this room, because we are the ones that are investing the time, energy, money in a solution. And our collective communications will drive this message. The public's going to respond, the public, not just the general public, but the market, the people that buy these products, are going to respond whether such messaging is consensus-based or fragmented. So we think that's a challenge that we should address. The third challenge relates to rural investment. I'm not going to spend a lot about this. The mayor just spoke very eloquently about the opportunity. There's a lot of state, federal programs out there to provide assistance for startup funding for these kinds of programs in rural communities. We should take advantage of them. So let me just close with what we think is a call to action from Sustainable Northwest. At Sustainable Northwest, Dylan and Paul and our colleagues like to roll up their sleeves, get things done. As a regional organization, we like to look across ecosystems and political boundaries while recognizing that both create real and beneficial differences. So we would like to suggest that a regional organization that looks across these boundaries be created. Right now we have business, trade associations, states, municipalities working to create a mass timber market. People's imaginations have been captured. Competition is great in this sector to a point. But we feel that a mass timber sector would really benefit from a regional organization that works on the challenges and opportunities that not just I, but others have laid out over the last day. So with this as food for thought, I'd like to say thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. We look forward to working with you and continuing our work on the mass timber sector and the opportunities it provides for our communities and ways of life. Thanks much.